feel that jobs tell us all the time. So let's go ahead and get into this, y'all. I'm Tonetta. This is my channel, Tonetta Clay. Of course, welcome to the channel if this is your first time coming, or welcome back if you've been here before. Like I said, this video is just, I'm talking about my daily things that I think about, that I go through, that I've been through in jobs and that kind of thing in this particular video, which is kind of a little bit different from the things I'm usually doing. But like I said, I got some things that's been on my mind, and that's been, like I think I told y'all in the video a few videos ago that I was burned out and just overly stressed with stuff. So like I said, that's where these particular videos are coming from. I guess I put it that way as well, because I'm thinking back to some of the things that I went through at jobs. I'm still a full-time employee, social worker. But like I said, I've been in the field almost 20, well, I guess going on 26 years now, or the 27. Let me see, 26. Am I saying that right? Yeah, 26 going on 27 years actually. And it just, I know that people hear that I'm paying you, so you're gonna do what I say. That's like I said, that's what jobs make me feel like. I know, I'm sure other folks can identify with that as well, because you cannot do whatever you want to do at your job whenever you feel like doing it. I guess I put it that way. And like I said, I know I'm one of the people that may not like rules. I don't like rules at all. I'll put it that way. But of course, I will abide by some rules because I have to live in a society. I have to work and I have to do my job, and I mean all those types of things. Be in relationships, so of course I got to follow some type of rule. But some things is just craziness to me, because I know when like I said before, when your job, they don't have to tell you that. They're of course paying you, so do what I say. They don't have to tell you that at all. But the underlying meaning of working and getting paid for what you do, that's exactly what that means to me. That's what that means. Because you, like I said, you can't just come and go as you please. You can't just take a vacation when you please. And some things, of course, are done at jobs by different supervisors, by other coworkers, underhandedly. And like I said, sometimes we have to deal with a lot in order to be at a place of employment, unfortunately. I don't know. I'm sure there are some good jobs out there, or some people who have a good work environment and that kind of thing, and have had no traumas or dramas or that kind of thing going on at work. There may be some. I have never seen one, but I am sure somebody out there has. And let me know in the comments if that's you, and where you don't have to put where you work at, but what are some fantastic things about your workplace? I guess to put it that way. Like I said, I just haven't heard of anyone that loves their job 100%. Well, nobody that I deal with. I can't say it because I don't know everybody in the whole world, but I am sure, like I said, there are some out there who love their jobs and love what they do and those kind of things as well. And hey, Valerie, thank you for tuning in as well. But like I said, when I hear that, or when I think about my job, like I said, I'm definitely grateful that I have a job and all those types of things. But it's just some things happen at jobs, like something happened today. It wasn't like it was major or that kind of thing at all. But what I heard in my head is that I pay you, you need to do what I say. That's exactly what I heard. Like I said, they didn't. Nobody said that, but the underlying tone of the information that was shared was exactly that to me. And like I said, yes, I was pissed off this morning and that kind of thing, but I had to realize that being pissed off, that's definitely fine. But as long as I stay mad and upset, I cannot think clearly in order to strategize and plan for my next move. I put it that way. And like I said, I definitely had to, um, after about 4 or 5 hours, I put it that way, calm my little self down and make sure that I know that I'm working on a plan that's going to get me out of that job at some point. And I'm making that this time, well, by the end of 2026 is my quit date. I guess I put it that way. It could be before that. It could be a little bit after that. I don't know. But like I said, that is the date I'm going to be setting as of today. Because like I said, at some point I had to realize, and I'm still realizing that, yes, while the job pays you and that kind of thing, but if you're not doing what they're saying, it's going to be some issues. I've seen it firsthand, and I've been part of the issue. I put it that way too. I've had all types of jobs, working with kids in foster care, the court system, a transitional housing for single moms and their kids. Then, of course, the apartment program that goes along with that. I've done intake. I've done worked at a home health agency as a social worker. I've done caregiver support groups. That's what I do right now. I'm working with caregivers and in the Department of Aging. Like I said, I know good and well that when you don't follow by the plan or follow by the rules that they have set forth, even if it's not your supervisor, even if it's not your job, but the co-workers there, Even if it's them, like I said, if you don't follow by the rules, there's going to be some issues. I've been at jobs, or a job, I put it that way. One of the jobs I've had in the past, I just had gotten there. I hadn't even been there a month yet. Of course, I'm the kind of person that's happy-go-lucky and that kind of thing, and want to talk to everybody. And I'm just a big friendly Bob. So of course, getting there, I hadn't even been there a month yet. Everybody, or the staff, most of the staff, seemed like they had a nasty attitude towards me, and I'm like, what in the world did I do to y'all? Y'all don't even know me. I just got here. So, like I said, definitely, it don't have to be your supervisor. It can be, yes. I've had that as well. But like I said, it can be the employees that you're working with too. That's making. I know it just take one bad apple to spoil the whole bunch at any job, and that makes it hard for everybody else that's going to that workplace. That's of course dealing with that person having to get work done. It makes it hard for everybody if there's one bad apple spoiling the entire bunch there. Unfortunately. And like I said, that's how the jobs I've had, of course, in social work, of course, that's how it's been for the last going 26 and a half years. But like I said, when this morning, just hearing the information, like I said, it wasn't said directly to me at all, but I get the gist of what was said, I guess, and how it came across to me. Like I said, is that I'm paying you, you gonna do what I say. And like I said, I had to, after several hours, I had to calm my little self down so I could start making sure that I'm sticking to my plan, regardless as to what was said or how it was said or who it was said to, that kind of thing. Like I said, I had to make sure that I'm calming myself down and still working on my plan to have my quit date be effective and take place. Like I said, next year, 2020, well, December, 31st, 2026. Like I said, that is my goal, regardless as to how it may look or how it may go after this. I guess I put it that way, but that is definitely my goal. Because, like I said, I know that, like I said, I'm grateful that I have the job and that kind of thing. I'm grateful for all the jobs I've had. Of course, they paid the bills along the way. They've invested the money from these jobs, have invested in the part time business that I have. I have a cookie business right now that I have a part time business, and that full time job feeds that particular business. Because of course I need the income to of course keep that business going. So of course, like I said, it definitely has helped. I'm very grateful for that. But like I said, when you run into issues, when there's people who are um, trying to sabotage, people that are very chaotic, want to gossip all the time, have full of drama and that kind of thing, like I said, it spoils the entire workplace, or the workplace with the people that have to deal with that person. And some bosses are like that, because I've had that too. I put it that way. I've definitely had that too, and that's very unfortunate. Because, like I said, there are some good workers out there like me, and I'm sure some of y'all on here that may work full time too. That bosses sometimes just walk over, don't care, don't show gratitude, anything like that. Talk about, say mean and nasty, cruel things too, and think they're the big stuff because they're a supervisor. Like I said, that hurts people, and that makes people not even want to work your job or work at the job. I guess I put it that way, because it's not their business either, most times anyway. And like I said, I had to definitely make sure that I get back to what I talked about, well, what I talked about within myself, and my partner and my therapist and that kind of thing as of last month, to make sure that I'm still working my plan, regardless as to what goes on, what happens, what's being said. I can be pissed off and resentful all day long, but I still got to keep doing what I got to do in order to transition on out of there to my full time, my own thing full time, something that I can be happy and proud of, that I've created, that's creating the income to sustain my household. Like I said, that's what I've said since day one, since I first started working. Actually, I had no idea what that thing was going to be. I still have no idea 100% what that thing is going to be, but it can be. I have, of course, my cookie business. Of course, I talk, speak, that kind of thing, do content across social media. Like I said, it's going to be one of those. I put it that way. Because I know God didn't put me here to have all these skills and to keep failing at every single thing that I do. Well, I take that back. Instead of me saying failing, me, I guess, not getting to the goals that I have set, but learning some lessons along the way. So I forgot, I was just told it's not a failure, but it's a lesson learned. What to do different next time, and how to push to a different path next go round. Or even in the same business, just how to pivot to something different, and something that's going to help. increase the business, increase the income, and that kind of thing as well, which I'm doing right now. But like I said, y'all, I just want to bring y'all this video today because, like I said, this wasn't anything that was said to me in these specific words, but the gist of the conversation that was had, that's what it, like I said, that's how it came off to me. And like I said, I definitely very, very resentful. I was almost in tears this morning. I was very upset. I'm not even upset anymore. I just know what I got to do to get to reach my goal. That's all I know at this present point, and that's all I'm gonna do at this present point. Yes, I will do work the job, do all those types of things. I'm not gonna just up and quit. That'd be very, very dumb of me to actually do so. So I have to keep, of course, doing what I'm doing, but working on my side plan as well to make sure that's going to kick off the way that I can't say I anticipate, but all the work I'm going to put into it, hopefully, no, I ain't going to say hopefully, it will kick off. I guess I put it that way in a different direction. And I'm just pivoting, doing the same thing, but just pivoting. So it's going to take a little bit to get it built and get it started, that kind of thing, but that's all right. I'm ready to go ahead and do that. And I have been, well, I can't do it right today, but of course, starting tomorrow for the rest of this month of December and January, that's what I'm pivoting to something else. And it's in my cookie business, actually. A different audience to, of course, serve in that cookie business. But like I said, definitely, I just know that, like I said, the resentment, the anger, and that kind of thing has to pass and has gone. But like I said, definitely, I got my plan. And I hope that somebody out there hears this story, you hear what I'm saying, especially if you work on a job, you're sick and tired of it, things are going on, unfair, being picked on, you're being traumatized, all those types of things. The workplace is just not good. Like I said, that's a lot of jobs, but just keep in mind that in order for you to, of course, create something different, you're going to have to put that work in to create that different thing. It's not going to just happen because you said it was, and oh, I'm gonna quit my job next week, and you don't have anything in place. You got to create that small business, small something to have in place. Whether it's baking, speaking, finances, I don't know what you want to teach on, whatever it is, you have to have something in place in order for that other goal to, of course, take place as well. It's not going to just magically happen or manifest out of nowhere, that kind of thing. You still got to put the work in. Faith without works is dead. I say that to myself all the time. I can have all the faith in something, but if I'm not putting in the work, it does not make a difference. You got to put in the work. If you want the lifestyle that you want and the changes that you want, you got to put in the work. If not, then what are you doing? So, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and get my butt off here. But like I said, I want to say thank you all for, of course, tuning in. Valerie, is it Wanna Lynn, Nathan, um, Skittles. There's several people. Faye Lewis. I want to say thank you all for tuning in. I see all the highs, so hello back to y'all as well. Like I said, I hope you join me in my next video. And just know that if you haven't subscribed to my channel, make sure that you go ahead and do so. Like I said, these daily vlogs that I'm doing, been doing them since last month. I did take a little break because I had a vacation, so I couldn't do all the vlogs for the last 2 weeks, but I'm getting right back into it. But like I said, definitely if you like the content for today, like I said, usually I'm talking about mindset, life, relationship, that kind of thing. But like I said, some things that I go through, I definitely want to, of course, push forward because I know there's other folks out there struggling as well. And this was all about the workplace. Like I said, I know there's some people out there struggling as well because there's a whole lot of things going on right now in the workplace. People are stressed, people are resentful, people are angry, some folks have been fired, all types of things. But don't let that stop you. Like I said, faith without works is dead. If you don't, you can have all the faith in trying to do something to create another income. But if you ain't doing the work, you ain't going to have nothing. So make sure that you start doing that. I'm talking to you and I'm talking to myself too, to make sure that I remind myself and y'all can hold me accountable that I'm getting these things done as well. Send me a comment and ask. I don't care. That is fine with me. I'm going to ask you in return as well. So with that, y'all, again, this is Tonetta Clay. Welcome to my channel again. Like I said, for those who haven't subscribed yet, make sure that you do. And for those who've been here before and on these lives I've been doing, welcome back, y'all. Welcome back, family. So, like I said, with that, y'all, I'm going to get off here. Take care, y'all. I'll see y'all in the next video tomorrow. Peace out.